What's going on, everyone? Tonight, we're diving into the world of dinosaurs. Those giant, scaly, roaring lizards that have captured our imagination for generations. And while many of us grew up thinking the T-Rex was the ultimate apex predator, it turns out that reality is a bit more nuanced. They weren't the mindless killing machines we often see in movies. They had more in common with your family dog than a horror movie monster. So get ready to peel back the layers of myth and discover what life really looked like in the age of dinosaurs. Spoiler alert, it was far more complex and often bizarre than we've been led to believe. But first, if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's darker truths, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what drew you to this topic. I love hearing from you all. Alright, get settled in, maybe grab a drink, and let's uncover what life was truly like back then. Now, where do we even start with dinosaurs? They've been portrayed as overgrown lizards, terrorizing the landscape with sharp teeth and even sharper attitudes. But let's not forget that they lived in a world vastly different from ours. Imagine a time when birds were not the only flying creatures, and when the closest thing you had to an Uber was a giant, lumbering herbivore that probably wouldn't fit in your driveway. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 160 million years. Sounds like a long time, right? But in terms of geological epochs, that's just the blink of an eye. Talk about getting your money's worth out of a lease. Now, let's tackle one of the most persistent myths, the notion that dinosaurs were all gigantic, lumbering beasts. Sure, we have the iconic T-Rex and the towering Brachiosaurus. But for every colossal dinosaur, there were hundreds of tiny ones buzzing around like nature's little comedians. For instance, the Microraptor was a feathered dinosaur the size of a crow, flitting through the trees like it was auditioning for a role in a Jurassic Park prequel. Imagine it trying to fit in with its much larger relatives. Hey, guys, I'm just as fierce. Look, I can glide. Can I join the dinner party? It's like that one friend who insists on bringing a salad to a barbecue. And speaking of feathers, let's address another misconception: the idea that dinosaurs were just overgrown reptiles. In reality, many dinosaurs are more closely related to modern birds than to crocodiles. Yes, you heard that right. Chickens and T-Rex share a common ancestor. So next time you're munching on some chicken nuggets, you might want to pause and consider the historical implications. You're basically eating a tiny piece of dinosaur history. With modern farming practices, who knew we'd end up with Jurassic nuggets instead of the full T-Rex experience? Now, let's pivot to their daily life, which was probably a lot less glamorous than we imagine. Picture this. It's a sunny afternoon, 65 million years ago. You've just had a hearty meal of ferns and leaves, if you're a herbivore, that is. And now you're lounging around, trying to avoid being eaten by something with teeth the size of your leg. Talk about a rough day at the office. The struggle to survive was real. You had to watch over your back while also figuring out where to find your next meal. If you were a plant eater, your biggest dilemma was figuring out how to reach the tastiest leaves without becoming a snack for something with a taste for herbivore. And let's not forget about the social structures of these massive creatures. Contrary to the lone wolf stereotype that movies often depict, many dinosaurs lived in herds. Imagine the gossip that would circulate in a group of triceratops. Did you hear about Larry? He tried to charge that predator and missed. Such a show-off. Herding behavior likely improved their chances of survival, allowing them to watch each other's backs, or, in the case of the long-necked sauropods, to be the original influencers, capturing all the best angles while avoiding carnivorous drama. Oh, and speaking of drama, let's not skip over the romantic lives of dinosaurs. Yes, they had love lives too. Fossil evidence suggests that some dinosaur species engaged in elaborate courtship rituals. Picture a male diplodocus trying to impress a female with his best moves, perhaps a dramatic head sway or a well-timed stomp. Who knew dinosaurs had such flair? They may not have had Tinder, but you can bet they had their own version of swipe right that involved impressive displays of size and strength. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the science behind these magnificent creatures. Over the years, paleontologists have made astounding discoveries that have transformed our understanding of dinosaurs. For instance, did you know that some dinosaurs had remarkably advanced respiratory systems? They had air sacs connected to their lungs, but allowed for efficient oxygen exchange, much like modern birds. This gave them an advantage in stamina, making them not just lumbering giants, but speedy athletes of their time. Imagine a T-Rex running a marathon. Now that's a sight to behold. And in the lead, it's the T-Rex, followed by a pack of raptors. Bet you didn't see that one coming. But it gets even wilder. Recent studies suggest that some dinosaurs were warm-blooded. Yes, warm-blooded. This means they could regulate their body temperature, giving them an edge in different climates. Can you picture a pack of young dinosaurs in winter gear complaining about the cold? Ah, I can't believe we have to go out in this weather. Who forgot to pay the heating bill? If only they had figured out how to build a fire. Now, let's delve into the cultural significance of dinosaurs throughout history. It's fascinating to see how civilizations have interpreted fossils and the remnants of these ancient beasts. For instance, in ancient China, fossilized dinosaur bones were often mistaken for dragon bones, leading to myths and legends about fire-breathing creatures. Imagine a paleontologist back then trying to explain, no, these are not dragons. They're just really, really big lizards that are no longer with us. I can already hear the collective groan of disbelief. Fast forward to the 19th century, when dinosaurs were first scientifically recognized. The excitement was palpable. Picture paleontologists in top hats eagerly digging in the ground, uncovering the bones of creatures that hadn't seen the light of day for millions of years. It was like being on the ultimate archaeological treasure hunt. But instead of gold doubloons, they found something even cooler: the remnants of creatures that roamed the earth long before humans decided to do things like invent reality television. And then there's the modern fascination with dinosaurs. From plush toys to blockbuster films, these creatures have become a staple of popular culture. But let's be real for a moment. What's with the portrayal of dinosaurs as rampaging monsters? This trope makes the great cinema, but in reality, they were far more diverse, with behaviors and characteristics that would probably make for an awkward family reunion. Oh, Uncle Rex, can you please stop eating my friends? We talked about this. As we wrap up this initial exploration of our prehistoric friends, it's important to recognize that while we've learned so much, there's still a lot we don't know. The fossil record can be like a jigsaw puzzle, missing pieces, leading to wild speculation and new theories cropping up every year. It's a fascinating field of study where every discovery can change the narrative. And who doesn't love a plot twist? So stick around, because in our next segment, we'll dive deeper into the extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs and explore the emerging theories and evidence that shed light on how these magnificent creatures met their end. Was it a meteor, a series of volcanic eruptions, or perhaps a cosmic conspiracy by a long-lost civilization? The truth is out there, and we're going to uncover it together. Stay tuned for part 2 of our dino adventure, where we'll uncover the mysteries that remain in the bones of the past. What's going on, everyone? Tonight we're diving into the world of dinosaurs, those giant lizards that roamed the earth for millions of years, only to go extinct because they didn't invest in a good insurance policy against meteor impacts. I know. A popular perception is that dinosaurs were all monstrous, fire-breathing beasts that would crush you underfoot, like a bad date gone horribly wrong. But let's take a moment to peel back the layers of this ancient world. Strip away the Jurassic Park glamour and the roaring T-Rexes you see in movies. The reality was far more complex and, dare I say it, a bit odd. But first, if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's darker truths, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what drew you to dinosaurs. I love hearing from you all. Alright, get settled in. Maybe grab a drink and let's uncover what life was truly like back then. Hashtag the misconceptions of dinosaur dynasties. Let's kick things off with some misconceptions that have plagued our understanding of these ancient creatures. For starters, not all dinosaurs were huge. Sure, you've got your Brontosaurus lumbering around like a living, breathing, plant-eating house. But did you know that there were also dinosaurs the size of chickens? Yes, you heard me right. The Velociraptor, made famous by Hollywood as a ferocious killer, was actually the size of a modern-day turkey. Imagine a Thanksgiving dinner gone wrong, with a pack of feathered raptors chasing you around the table. But here's where it gets even wilder. Many of these small dinosaurs were covered in feathers. Yes, it turns out that dinosaurs have more in common with your everyday bird than with the scaly reptiles we often imagine. In fact, some paleontologists argue that birds are the closest living relatives to dinosaurs. So the next time someone tells you that the past was all about giant beasts, just remind them that nature also threw in a little bit of fluffiness. The absurdities of dinosaur behavior. Now, speaking of feathers, let's talk about dinosaur behavior for a moment. We often think of dinosaurs as these fearsome predators, but what if I told you that some of them may have been more concerned about their social lives than their dinner plans? Take the hadrosaurs, for example. These herbivores had some of the most elaborate crests on their heads, which scientists believe might have been used for communication. So, while the T-Rex was probably busy plotting its next meal, you had hadrosaurs strutting around like they were at a fashion show. Look at my crest. It's fabulous, darling. Imagine the social media influencer scene if dinosaurs had existed today, live streaming their best crest poses on Dino Instagram. In truth, the social dynamics among dinosaurs could be just as complicated as they are in our lives today. Much like humans, they formed groups, raised their young, and likely had their own social hierarchies. Just picture a group of velociraptors trying to decide who gets to lead the hunt and which one of them will be responsible for the #DinoFood hashtag. Cultural practices and dinosaurs historically. The discovery of dinosaurs has influenced cultures in various ways. In Victorian England, for instance, the fossil frenzy kicked off a wave of fascination with these magnificent beasts. Dinosaurs became a symbol of the greatness of the past, and paleontology as a science grew rapidly. Isn't it ironic that while we think of dinosaurs as ancient history, their discovery sparked a modern obsession that helped shape our view of the natural world? In various cultures, mythical creatures often resemble dinosaurs. The Native American mythology of the thunderbird, for instance, may have been inspired by the massive pterosaurs that roamed the skies. You can almost imagine early humans pointing up at the sky and exclaiming, "Look, a giant bird that can swallow a cow whole." Meanwhile, in China, the discovery of dinosaur fossils led to some fascinating interpretations. The Chinese word for dinosaur literally translates to terrible lizard, but many local legends equated them to dragons. Can you picture a dragon from a distant past wearing a feathered crest? It's a delightful blend of fact and folklore that shows how our understanding of dinosaurs has evolved and been reshaped over centuries. Scientific irony, dinosaurs and climate change. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on another darkly humorous irony. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 160 million years, experiencing climate shifts that would have made today's debates on climate change look like a casual Sunday picnic. They survived multiple extinction events, various environmental transformations, and even ice ages. But what took them down in the end? A meteor strike and volcanic eruptions, events that were probably as unexpected as your in-laws visiting for the weekend. Isn't it a bit absurd? These massive creatures could withstand millions of years of evolution, but one cosmic accident sends them packing. It's like being the world's greatest chef and then choking on a pea. Irony is a dish best served cold, I suppose. Human nature and dinosaurs, a shared fascination. Let's shift gears and delve into human nature for a moment. Our fascination with dinosaurs seems to transcend time and culture. From children playing with toy dinosaurs to adults crowding museums, it's clear that we've got a soft spot for these ancient giants. But what does this fascination say about us? For one thing, it reflects our desire to understand our past, to make sense of a world that once was. We're constantly searching for connections to those who came before us, be it through art, science, or even play. The way we depict dinosaurs in pop culture shows us not just what we think they were like, but also what we fear, admire, or even mock about ourselves. Let's be honest, there's something strangely comforting about knowing that even the mightiest of creatures eventually met their match. It gives us a sense of camaraderie, doesn't it? Sure, I might struggle to make it through a Monday, but at least I'm not a T-Rex who couldn't survive a meteor shower. The connections between past and present. Drawing connections between the past and present we can see that dinosaurs continue to influence our world in unexpected ways. For instance, modern birds are a direct lineage of these ancient creatures. Next time you see a pigeon strutting around your city, just remember it has a distant ancestor who roamed the earth alongside gargantuan beasts. Talk about a family reunion. Moreover, modern science has come to reveal that some behaviors we see in birds today, such as intricate mating dances or communal nesting, might not be too far off from what their dinosaur ancestors engaged in. So as you watch your pet parrot squawking about, keep in mind that it may just be channeling its inner raptor. The absurdity of our own times. And let's not forget the absurdity of our own times. We fret over climate change, environmental degradation, and the potential for extinction, all while scrolling through our phones and binge-watching reality TV. It's a little funny, really. We're more aware than ever of the fragility of life, and yet we treat our planet as if it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Meanwhile, those unfortunate dinosaurs couldn't even predict a single asteroid strike. Conclusion: but we're not done yet. So as we dive into the world of dinosaurs, let's remember that it's a reflection of ourselves as much as it is a study of the past. Our fascination, misconceptions, and the absurdities of both our time and theirs serve as a reminder that we're all just trying to navigate a world filled with uncertainty and wonder. In our next segment, we'll keep digging deep into the strange lives of dinosaurs, their habitats, and perhaps explore a few more delightful myths and realities. So, stay tuned, because the adventure is far from over. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying the ride, and drop your thoughts below. What's your favorite dinosaur? And what interests you most about their public personas versus the reality? Let me know. What's going on, everyone? Tonight, we're diving into the colossal world of dinosaurs. You might think of them as just the enormous, scaly giants that once roamed the earth. But here's a reality check. They were far more than just big lizards that went extinct. We're exploring their actual lives, behaviors, and even how they relate to the way we live today. Strip away the flashy CGI and the oversized T-Rexes that Hollywood loves to depict. The reality was far more complex and challenging than most people realize. But first, if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's darker truths, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what drew you to this topic. I love hearing from you all. Alright, get settled in, maybe grab a drink, and let's uncover what life was truly like back then. The dinosaur boom, more than just big bones. Let's start with the big question. What made dinosaurs so successful? Contrary to popular belief, it wasn't their size alone. Yes, some of them were like mobile mountains, but others were as small as a chicken. In fact, many dinosaurs were feathered creatures that put most birds to shame. Imagine a tiny, feathered T-Rex strutting around with all the swagger of a reality TV star. The feathers were likely there for insulation and perhaps even display. So much for the scaly monster trope, huh? Scientific misconceptions about dinosaurs abound, and one of the biggest is that they were all dumb brutes. The reality? Some were remarkably intelligent. The velociraptor, for example, was not only small and quick, but also had a brain that could rival that of a modern bird. It seems that the cleverness gene was alive and well in the Cretaceous period. So the next time you think about dinosaurs, picture an adorable feathered creature plotting its next meal instead of a lumbering idiot. Cultural practices, dinosaurs in our imagination. Now let's shift gears a bit and consider how dinosaurs have seeped into our cultural psyche. From ancient myths to modern films, their impact is undeniable. For example, in some cultures, large bones were often misinterpreted as the remains of giants or dragons. Can you imagine a group of medieval people finding a T-Rex femur and thinking it belonged to a mythical creature? It's a classic case of mistaken identity, where ancient folks couldn't possibly know they were sitting on top of a dinosaur graveyard. And speaking of cultural practices, let's not forget how different societies have handled the concept of extinction. While most of us understand that dinosaurs are long gone, many cultures have legends about gigantic creatures that once roamed the earth. In fact, some believe that stories of dragons could very well be rooted in the memories of our dino ancestors. It's like ancient humans were trying to make sense of their world and the mysteries within it through the most vivid narratives they could muster. Who wouldn't want to tell a tale about a fire-breathing lizard, right? Human nature. We love a good story. Human nature, always looking for something to latch onto. Our fascination with dinosaurs isn't just about their size or ferocity. It's also about storytelling. We've always had a yearning to understand our past, and what better way to do that than by imagining what life was like when gigantic reptiles ruled the earth. Interestingly, this desire to connect with the ancient world is echoed in how we view nature today. Take the fascination with modern-day reptiles, for example. Some of us watch reptiles with the same awe that our ancestors must have felt when they stumbled across a dinosaur bone. It's a strangely comforting thought that the essence of these ancient creatures still lingers in the world around us. Just don't expect a crocodile to give you a tip on how to survive a meteor strike. Ironies and absurdities, the nature of extinction. Now let's explore the irony of extinction itself. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for about 165 million years, a truly impressive run. But their reign ended in a matter of minutes when a meteor struck the Yucatan Peninsula. Talk about an unforeseen exit. It's almost poetic in a darkly humorous way. Here were these magnificent creatures thriving and evolving, only to be taken out by an immense rock from space. If that doesn't scream irony, I don't know what does. Furthermore, consider how we've benefited from their extinction. Without the dinosaurs, mammals, including humans, had the opportunity to flourish. Imagine a world where T-Rexes were still around. Our chances of becoming the dominant species would be about as slim as a spaghetti noodle in a wrestling match. Dinosaurs may have paved the way for our existence, which makes it a bit of a wild paradox, doesn't it? Misconceptions about their behavior. We've been down the road of misinterpretation, but let's talk about dinosaur behavior. Many people think of dinosaurs as solitary creatures, lumbering around like awkward teenagers at a school dance. In reality, evidence suggests that many dinosaurs were social animals, living in herds and displaying complex behaviors just like pack animals today. Imagine a group of duck-billed dinosaurs gossiping about their favorite plants or staging elaborate social gatherings. It's a whole different vibe from the survival of the fittest narrative we've been sold. Take the famous Triceratops, for example. Recent studies indicate that they likely roamed in groups, possibly for protection against predators. So much for the image of a lone horned giant standing guard over its territory. Instead, they were probably more like a dinosaur-themed version of a social club, complete with loud discussions about who had the best horns. The scientific community, a fickle friend. Let's take a moment to appreciate the scientific community's journey in understanding dinosaurs. For years, paleontologists were convinced that all dinosaurs were slow-moving and lumbering. That perception has shifted dramatically, especially with the advent of new technologies and methodologies. The irony here is that the more we learn, the more we realize how little we actually know. It's the classic case of the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. This brings us to the fascinating world of fossil discoveries. From feathered theropods to massive sauropods, each new finding adds layers to our understanding of these creatures. And let's not forget those moments of ancient embarrassment in the scientific community, like when researchers confidently identified a new dinosaur species, only to find out later it was just a misidentified fossil. Oops, it's like discovering that the rare collectible you've been bragging about is actually just an old rock. Connections to the present, from dinosaurs to birds. As we marvel at the past, let's not forget the connection between dinosaurs and modern-day birds. Yes, you heard that right. Birds are technically Asian dinosaurs, so next time you see a pigeon strutting around, remember that it has a distant family connection to the mighty T-Rex. It's like discovering that your overly confident uncle is actually a distant cousin of a rock star. This connection has interesting implications for how we view evolution. The survival of certain traits, like feathers, for instance, has allowed birds to adapt and thrive in today's world. We often think of dinosaurs as stuck in time, but the truth is that their legacy continues to ripple through our lives. Every time you see a sparrow or a robin, you're looking at a feathered dinosaur that has successfully navigated millions of years of evolution. Talk about a family reunion. The insatiable human curiosity. All right, folks, let's talk about the insatiable curiosity that drives us to learn about these creatures. Humans have an innate desire to dig deeper, to explore the unknown, and to make sense of our world. This is evident in how we've approached the study of dinosaurs. Museums filled with lifelike dinosaur models are not just educational, they are a testament to our collective fascination with what once was. And yet, there's a delightful absurdity in our pursuit of knowledge. For example, researchers are now employing advanced technology such as CT scans to examine fossils without damaging them. It's like using a futuristic gadget to see through a dinosaur's bones. Imagine the T-Rex saying, "Hey buddy, what are you doing, poking around in my ribcage?" Humanity's quest for understanding can sometimes lead to bizarre scenarios, but it also fuels our progress. Conclusion: the never-ending journey of discovery. As we continue to peel back the layers of history and explore the nuances of life on Earth, it's essential to remember that dinosaurs were more than just prehistoric monsters. They were complex beings with behaviors, social dynamics, and a legacy that has profoundly shaped our understanding of evolution and our place in the world. The absurdities, ironies, and fascinating connections we uncover only add to the allure of these magnificent creatures. So, whether you're fascinated by the science, intrigued by the cultural stories, or just love the idea of feathered giants roaming the earth, there's no denying that dinosaurs hold a special place in our hearts and minds. Who knows what mysteries await us as we dig deeper into the past? Keep that curiosity alive, and let's continue exploring the wild world of dinosaurs together. Stay tuned for more deep dives into history's most intriguing stories. This is just the beginning, and I can't wait to see where our journey takes us next. What's going on, everyone? Tonight we're diving into the world of dinosaurs, those magnificent, lumbering giants that used to rule the earth. You might think they were all toothy predators or gentle giants like we see in the movies, but let's have a reality check here. Most of what you've been told is a bit, shall we say, exaggerated. Spoiler alert, the reality was far more complex and challenging than most people realize. But first, if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's darker truths, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what drew you to this topic. I love hearing from you all. Alright, get settled in, maybe grab a drink, and let's uncover what life was truly like back then. Whether you were a T-Rex trying to get a sack, or a Stegosaurus just trying to avoid becoming a snack. Chat to the great dinosaur myth. When we think of dinosaurs, what comes to mind? Giant lizards, right? Well, surprise, they weren't actually lizards at all. Dinosaurs are part of a group called archosaurs, which also includes crocodiles and the long-extinct pterosaurs. Think of them as the really weird relatives of modern birds. Yep, that's right. Birds are technically more closely related to dinosaurs than to lizards. So the next time you watch a bird hopping around your backyard, just remember, you're looking at a feathered dinosaur in a midlife crisis, trying to figure out how to fit in with the mammals. This leads us to the cultural practices surrounding dinosaurs. For centuries, our fascination with these creatures has morphed into everything from children's toys to blockbuster films. Even ancient cultures speculated about the bones they stumbled upon. For example, when the Chinese discovered dinosaur fossils, they thought they were dragon bones. So, if you ever felt like you were up against a fire-breathing dragon, just know it was probably just a misidentified triceratops. Speaking of misunderstandings, let's talk about the dinosaur renaissance of the late 20th century. This is when paleontologists started to realize that dinosaurs weren't just lumbering brutes on a slow march to extinction. No, they were dynamic creatures with feathers, colors, and possibly even social structures. Think of them as the hipsters of the prehistoric world, always evolving and trying to stay ahead of the curve. Social aspects of dinosaurs. Now you might be wondering, did dinosaurs have social lives? Well, it turns out, yes, some dinosaurs lived in herds, which means they had their own version of social networking. Imagine the kind of gossip that would fly around among a group of velociraptors huddled together in a valley, discussing the latest trends in hunting strategies. Did you hear about that T-Rex who thought he could sneak up on a herd of triceratops? Talk about embarrassing. These social aspects can draw parallels to human nature. which has remained remarkably constant over time. We've always formed groups, be it for hunting, protection, or simply to share the latest celebrity gossip. And like dinosaurs, humans have had their own share of social strategies, whether it was figuring out how to use fire to cook food, or how to swipe right on that caveman who looks like he could hunt a woolly mammoth. Let's pivot a bit here and delve into some misconceptions that surround these prehistoric creatures. Often, we envision dinosaurs as these grand, towering beasts, but the truth is that many were actually quite small. For instance, the Compsognathus was the size of a chicken. So, if you think about it, the next time you're eating KFC, you might just be channeling your inner dinosaur hunter. Shatter scientific misconceptions and the dark side of dinosaurs. Speaking of misconceptions, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the asteroid. You've probably heard that dinosaurs went extinct due to a catastrophic asteroid impact around 66 million years ago. While that's true, it's a bit more complicated. You see, dinosaurs were already facing challenges long before the asteroid hit, thanks to volcanic activity and climate change. So, rather than a sudden demise, it was more like a slow-motion train wreck. Picture it, dinosaurs were already having a tough time, and then, boom, a cosmic-sized cherry on top of the misery cake. But it gets even darker. What if I told you that some of the dinosaurs that survived the initial impact eventually went extinct due to some seriously misguided decisions? Yup, can you imagine? Hey guys, let's settle down here in a changing climate and eat all the available food. What could go wrong? Talk about poor planning. By this point, you're probably wondering about the connections between these ancient beasts and our modern-day life. And here's where it gets truly interesting. Just like dinosaurs, we humans are always adapting, or at least we should be. Climate change? We're facing it head-on. Societal upheaval? Yep, our own slow-motion train wreck. The big takeaway here is that while dinosaurs may have vanished, their ability to adapt, or lack thereof, reminds us of our own struggles, ironies, and absurdities in the dinosaur world. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate some of the absurdities and ironies in the world of dinosaurs. For one, despite their fearsome reputations, many dinosaurs were actually herbivores. That's right. Imagine a giant brachiosaurus lumbering along and munching on leaves like it's at an all-you-can-eat salad bar. How's that for a creature that looks like it could crush a car? It's like a bodybuilder who only eats tofu. What a twist, right? And let's not forget the velociraptors, which are often depicted as cunning hunters in movies, but in reality, they were about the size of a turkey. Just picture a tiny raptor flapping its little arms, thinking it's a big deal. Watch out, I'm a fearsome predator. Meanwhile, a stegosaurus is just chilling in the background, unfazed and munching on ferns. It's almost like a comedy routine. No, you go first, I insist. Throughout history, humans have turned these ancient creatures into larger-than-life icons. The very name dinosaur means terrible lizard, and let's be honest, that's a bit misleading. Perhaps it should be terribly misunderstood lizard, but that doesn't quite convey the dramatic flair. Modern perspectives. As we bring this journey through the world of dinosaurs into the present, let's reflect on how our understanding has evolved. Paleontologists today employ cutting-edge technology. from CT scans to 3D modeling, to unearth new insights. It's like they've got a superpower, revealing the secrets of these long-lost creatures. The irony? We're learning more about dinosaurs in a time when their closest relatives are flying around our heads, oblivious to their ancestral past. It's a classic case of you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Except in this case, what's gone is a whole ecosystem of giants. And let's not forget about the ongoing debates within the scientific community. For instance, the argument over whether some dinosaurs had feathers or not continues to spark discussions. One paleontologist says, feathers, they were fabulous, like the runway models of the Mesozoic era. Meanwhile, another counters with, nah, they were all about that scaly look. It's a real-life episode of the Great British Bake Off, but with fossils instead of pastries. Lessons from dinosaurs. So, what can we learn from dinosaurs, besides the fact that they were far more nuanced than the average monster movie suggested? Well, they teach us about change, resilience, and the importance of adaptation. Just as dinosaurs had to navigate their ever-changing environment, we too must face our challenges head-on. In today's fast-paced world, we often forget that evolution isn't just about physical changes. It's also about mental adaptation. We can learn from our scaly ancestors who had to evolve or perish. So, the next time you're faced with a challenging situation, channel that inner dinosaur. Maybe not the one that went extinct, but rather the ones that learned to adapt and thrive. And as we wrap up this segment, let's take a moment to appreciate the ongoing fascination with these creatures. From theme parks to museums, they continue to captivate our imaginations. Even the kids' toys of today are a reminder that the legacy of dinosaurs lives on. Triceratops plushies, T-Rex action figures, and everything in between. So, let's celebrate the absurd, the misunderstood, and the downright fascinating world of dinosaurs. They may have gone extinct millions of years ago, but their story is far from over. The future of dinosaur research. Looking forward, who knows what new discoveries await us? Each year, paleontologists are uncovering new fossils and refining our understanding of these incredible creatures. What other astonishing truths lie buried beneath the earth, waiting to be unearthed? It's a thrilling prospect to consider what future generations may learn about dinosaurs, how they lived, and why they ultimately met their end. As we continue to grapple with our own environmental challenges, the lessons we glean from these ancient beasts are more pertinent than ever. Just like dinosaurs, we face extinction-level events in the form of climate change, technological upheaval, and social shifts. It's a reminder that adaptability isn't just a trait of the past, it's essential for our survival today. Countless documentaries, books, and films will continue to shape our perception of dinosaurs, often blurring the lines between fact and fiction. So, the next time you're watching a dinosaur movie and someone yells, "Run!" remember, sometimes it's just a misunderstood herbivore trying to get to the salad bar. As we journey through the fascinating world of dinosaurs, remember that there's still so much to explore and discover. They may have roamed the earth eons ago, but their legacy is alive and well, shaping the way we see our world today. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and who knows, you might just unearth your own piece of dinosaur history. Stay tuned for the next segment as we continue our exploration of history's hidden truths, because our journey through time has only just begun. Remember, history isn't just a series of dates and events. It's the story of us, humans and creatures alike, navigating the complexities of existence throughout time. So buckle up, because the adventure is far from over. What's going on, everyone? Tonight, we're diving into the jaw-dropping world of dinosaurs. You might think they were all massive beasts stomping around like overgrown lizards. But here's a reality check. Not all dinosaurs were colossal, fearsome predators. In fact, some of them were smaller than your average dog. We're exploring what life was really like for these prehistoric creatures. Strip away the Hollywood glam, where every dino is a roaring monster in a big-budget blockbuster. The reality was far more complex and challenging than most people realize. With a whole buffet of weirdness that even the most imaginative writers couldn't cook up. But first, if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's darker truths, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what drew you to this topic. I love hearing from you all. All right, get settled in. Maybe grab a drink and let's uncover what life was truly like back then. As we delve into the fascinating realm of dinosaurs, we can't ignore the enduring legacy they've left on our culture. They've become symbols of power, extinction, and the fragility of life. But did you know that the very word dinosaur was only coined in the 19th century? That's right. It comes from the Greek words dinos, meaning terrible, and sauros, which means lizard. Talk about setting the bar high. You can almost hear the ancient Greeks debating over whether they were terrible lizards or just really, really big geckos. Now, if you think about it, it's ironic that after millions of years of evolution, the most famous dinosaurs, like Tyrannosaurus rex and Velociraptor, are often depicted as these ferocious beasts with a single-minded focus on being terrifying. But the reality is that many dinosaurs were not so terrible. For instance, the Brachiosaurus, with its long neck and gentle demeanor, was likely just munching on treetops, minding its own business, and trying to live its best herbivorous life. I mean, if you had a neck that long, wouldn't you just want to find the tastiest leaves up high and chill? But let's not forget about those social aspects of dinosaur life. Recent studies suggest that some dinosaurs were surprisingly social creatures. Take the hadrosaurs, often referred to as duck-billed dinosaurs. These guys were not only herbivorous, but also likely traveled in herds, which is kind of like the prehistoric equivalent of a group of friends deciding to go out for brunch. Imagine a flock of these duckbills waddling around, gossiping about the latest ferns and discussing which trees had the best foliage. Their social structures might have been complex, complete with pecking orders, and maybe even a bit of dino drama. While we're on the subject of misconceptions, let's address the whole dinosaur extinction narrative. When you hear about the asteroid that struck Earth 66 million years ago, it sounds like a plot twist ripped from a sci-fi movie. But here's the kicker. While that cataclysmic event played a massive role in their demise, dinosaurs were already experiencing gradual extinction due to factors like climate change, changing sea levels, and volcanic activity. So, it's not just a one-and-done scenario. It's more like a slow-motion train wreck that eventually led to their extinction. Kind of gives the phrase, "It's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop," a whole new meaning, doesn't it? Speaking of irony, let's chat about the connection between dinosaurs and birds. Yes, you heard that right. Birds are, in fact, the modern-day descendants of certain theropod dinosaurs. So the next time you see a pigeon strutting down the street, just remember, you're looking at a tiny, feathery relative of the mighty dinosaurs. Just remember, that little guy has some T-Rex in its family tree. It's like finding out that your distant cousin is not just a regular human, but also half dinosaur. Imagine telling your friends, "Yeah, my family history includes a fierce predator that could eat you for breakfast." Dinner parties would be a whole different vibe. But let's take a moment to appreciate the cultural practices that have emerged from our fascination with dinosaurs. Museums around the world are filled with enormous skeletons, and we've even created entire theme parks dedicated to these magnificent beasts. It's almost like we're collectively trying to resurrect them, just without the whole bringing them back to life part. Imagine if we did succeed, though. Would we have T-Rex themed coffee shops? Welcome to T-Rex Roast. Our coffee is so strong, it might just bite back. Now, as we explore these connections between past and present, let's not forget about the important role dinosaurs play in scientific research. Paleontology, the study of ancient life, has unveiled secrets about evolution, climate change, and extinction patterns. It's like a prehistoric time machine. Scientists can analyze fossils and gain insights into past ecosystems, which can help us understand modern-day challenges like biodiversity loss and climate change. It's a pretty big deal, and yet all we can think about are the giant lizards in the movies. To drive this point home, let's take a look at how human nature remains consistent throughout time. Just as dinosaurs were shaped by their environments, so are we. Our instincts to survive, adapt, and even socialize have deep-rooted origins in our prehistoric ancestors. Sure, we may have evolved into a species that can build skyscrapers and send satellites into space, but at the end of the day, we still have that primal urge to connect, to explore, and yes, even to fear the unknown. And fear is a big part of the dinosaur narrative, isn't it? It's remarkable how our imaginations have crafted monstrous representations of these creatures. From the terrifying roars of the T-Rex in Jurassic Park to the cartoonish antics of the land before time, our portrayal of dinosaurs reflects our deepest anxieties and fascinations. Are they just a metaphor for our fears of extinction? Or perhaps a symbol of nature's raw power? Both theories could be true, making our relationship with these ancient creatures all the more complex. Speaking of complexities, have you ever thought about how dinosaurs' social dynamics might mirror our own? Just like us, some dinosaurs likely had social hierarchies. It's not hard to imagine a group of raptors huddled together, whispering about who's dating whom, while the Triceratops just rolls its eyes at the drama. Picture that. Oh, you won't believe what Velociraptor did at the watering hole last night. It's a classic case of dinosaurs behaving like humans. And honestly, it makes the prehistoric world relatable in a comically absurd way. Now let's dive into some more quirky misconceptions. You might think that every dinosaur was a giant monster, but many were actually quite small. The Compsognathus, for instance, was only about the size of a chicken. So next time you're out for fried chicken, just remember that you could be munching on a distant relative of a dinosaur. It kind of puts a new spin on that baked or fried debate, doesn't it? Then there's the classic image of dinosaurs as lumbering giants. While some, like the Argentinosaurus, were indeed enormous, others like the Velociraptor were surprisingly swift and agile. In fact, they were more akin to modern birds than the lumbering monsters we often envision. It's like realizing that your idea of a dinosaur was more Jurassic Park than Birdwatching 101. And don't even get me started on the idea of dinosaurs being cold-blooded. This misconception has been quashed over the years, as more research suggests that many dinosaurs were likely warm-blooded. So instead of lounging around in the sun like a lazy reptile, they might have been more active, zipping around like feathered rockets. Can you imagine? Hey, look at that dino. It's like a feathered cheetah. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, the universe throws in a curveball. Now let's take a moment to reflect on how these ancient creatures have influenced our contemporary society. Dinosaur-themed merchandise is everywhere. T-shirts, toys, even animated series. It's like they've become cultural icons, transcending their ancient existence to become symbols of wonder and curiosity. We've even developed paleontological tourism, where people flock to fossil sites just to catch a glimpse of these ancient bones. It's like visiting a historical site, but with the added excitement of imagining what it would have been like to see a dinosaur roam free. Another point worth mentioning is how dinosaurs often serve as a bridge between generations. Parents and children alike bond over dinosaur toys, movies, and books. It's a shared fascination that brings families together. Kids learn about science, evolution, and our place in the world through these giant lizards. You could say dinosaurs have become the unofficial mascot of childhood wonder, a symbol of exploration and discovery. "Mummy, can we go to the Dino Museum?" is a universal cry that echoes through the ages. As we continue unraveling this dinotastic narrative, let's not forget the sheer absurdity and humor found in the evolutionary journey of these creatures. Consider the Stegosaurus with its spiky plates and tiny brain. Seriously, it had a brain the size of a walnut. Can you imagine being that gigantic and having a mind that couldn't even remember where you left your last meal? Did I eat that shrub yesterday, or was it the day before? Oh well, back to munching. And then there's the bizarre fact that some dinosaurs had feathers. Yes, you heard me. Feathered dinosaurs were a real thing. To think that what we often envision as scaly reptilian beasts may have had a soft, feathery exterior is just delightful. It's like discovering that your tough, grumpy uncle has a secret collection of pastel sweaters. Suddenly, it's not just about the size and ferocity. It's about the layers of complexity and surprise. And let's wrap this segment up by considering how dinosaurs have shaped not just our understanding of the past, but also our hopeful visions of the future. As we grapple with issues like climate change and biodiversity loss, the lessons we derive from studying dinosaurs provide valuable insights. They remind us of the fragility of life and the importance of adaptability, an essential lesson that reverberates through history and into our present. So as we reflect on these incredible beings, we find a tapestry woven from lessons, absurdities, and human connections that span millions of years. From their social dynamics to their surprising connections with modern birds, dinosaurs continue to captivate our imaginations and inspire our quest for knowledge. But hold on to your feathers, because there's still much more to uncover about our prehistoric friends. Join me in the next installment as we delve deeper into the world of dinosaurs. We'll explore even more myths, tackle the misconceptions head-on, and take a closer look at the evolution of our fascination with these magnificent creatures. Until then, keep your dino hunting boots on and your curiosity sharp. What's going on, everyone? Tonight we're diving into the prehistoric world of dinosaurs. You might think of these magnificent beasts as towering giants that roamed the earth, battling each other in a primal showdown. But let me hit you with a reality check. Dinosaurs were not all monstrous predators or lumbering brutes. In fact, the reality was far more complex and challenging than most people realize. I mean, there were small, feathered dinosaurs that probably wouldn't even scare your house cat, let alone put you in a tailspin of fear. So, strip away the Jurassic Park-inspired visions in your head. These creatures lived in an era filled with bizarre ecological dynamics, evolutionary quirks, and some rather peculiar social practices. But first, if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's darker truths, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what drew you to this topic. I love hearing from you all. All right, get settled in. Maybe grab a drink, and let's uncover what life was truly like back then. The dinosaur renaissance, a feathered surprise. Let's kick things off with the first big myth. The idea that dinosaurs were all scaly, cold-blooded monsters. While you might picture a T-Rex with gleaming reptilian skin, paleontologists have uncovered evidence suggesting some dinosaurs had feathers. Yes, you heard that right. A feathered dinosaur sounds like something straight out of a bizarre evolution-themed sitcom. But it's true. Species like the velociraptor, often depicted as a fierce predator, actually sported feathers, which gives it more of a bird-like appearance than a scaly reptile. This brings us to an interesting irony. For years, we thought of dinosaurs as the ultimate apex predators, but now it seems they were more like overgrown chickens with an attitude problem. Imagine a T-Rex strutting around with a colorful plumage, puffing out its feathers for a prehistoric date night. That's the kind of dinosaur renaissance I can get behind. Now, let's pivot to how we, as humans, interact with the unknown, a theme that transcends time. Dinosaurs, with their colossal size and mysterious extinction, tap into our primal fear of the unknown. Just think about it. Humans have always been drawn to stories of monsters, From the tales of dragons to the legends of Bigfoot, these creatures reflect our anxieties and fascinations. Dinosaurs are no different, except they actually existed and were far more diverse than any mythological monster. Back in the day, when early humans stumbled upon dino bones, they likely didn't think, "Oh, look at these fossils. They must belong to a creature that lived millions of years ago." Instead, they might have spun wild tales about giant beasts roaming the earth. This tendency for storytelling, grounded in fear and wonder, shows us how human nature hasn't changed much over the millennia. If anything, our imaginations have only gotten wilder, and I can't blame anyone for trying to explain the inexplicable. Speaking of storytelling, let's delve into how dinosaurs have shaped our cultural narratives. In various cultures, remnants of their existence have sparked myths and legends. For instance, in some Native American tribes, stories of enormous creatures may have been inspired by massive dinosaur bones unearthed long before paleontology was a thing. These fossilized remains were passed down as folklore, leading to the creation of monstrous tales that echoed through generations. In modern times, we have the opposite effect. Dinosaurs are now symbols of extinction, evolution, and, let's not forget, the occasional corporate marketing strategy. From toys to movies, dinosaurs have become ingrained in our culture, often depicted in ways that play fast and loose with the facts. And while it's easy to get swept up in the fantastical representations, this sheds light on how cultures adapt past remnants into narratives fitting their time. The irony is palpable. We both honor these ancient beings while simultaneously distorting their realities into thrilling stories fit for a blockbuster. Scientific misconceptions, a bumpy road to discovery. Now, let's take a moment to address some scientific misconceptions that have plagued the field of paleontology. For starters, let's talk about the infamous dinosaur extinction. It's widely believed that a meteor struck Earth 66 million years ago, causing a mass extinction event that wiped out approximately 75% of all species, including dinosaurs. While this catastrophic event certainly played a role, recent research suggests it wasn't the only culprit. Picture this: a combination of volcanic activity, climate change, and oceanic shifts contributed to the fall of the dinosaurs. It's almost as if nature was throwing a multi-part puzzle at them, and they were a few pieces short of completing it. The cosmic irony? While the dinosaurs were busy living their best lives, the groundwork for their demise was being laid out, not by a single giant rock from space, but by a whole series of unfortunate events. Talk about bad luck. Chapter: Connections to Today, the Legacy of Dinosaurs. Now let's connect the dots between our dinosaur friends and the present day. It's easy to dismiss dinosaurs as relics of the past, but their legacy is very much alive in our modern world. Birds. Yes, those chirping creatures flitting about your backyard are direct descendants of theropod dinosaurs. So the next time you see a pigeon stealing crumbs from a park bench, remember that it is in fact a feathered dinosaur, complete with a complex social structure and some questionable choices about where to hang out. Interestingly, this connection to birds has also sparked conversations about conservation. and the importance of protecting our planet's biodiversity. If dinosaurs taught us anything, it's that extinction is a very real possibility, and we must take care of the creatures that still roam our Earth. It's a bit dark, but the reality is that humans has a hand in shaping our environment, just like we did in the time of the dinosaurs. Our actions today might echo through future generations, leading to another mass extinction. But this time, it'll be us on the receiving end. Absurdities of the past, dinosaur dilemmas. Let's take a step back and appreciate some of the absurdities that surrounded dinosaurs. For example, scientists have inferred that many dinosaurs likely lived in herds, roaming vast landscapes. But imagine the logistics of a herd that size. Picture a T-Rex trying to organize a family reunion. All right, everyone, remember to wear your best feathers. And don't forget Aunt Edna. She's a little slower on the ground. But then again, the social structure of dinosaurs may have looked surprisingly similar to today's family gatherings. You know how there's always one relative who insists on telling the same embarrassing story over and over? Well, I can only imagine the pterodactyls regaling each other with tales of the time they swooped too low over a T-Rex's lunch. And of course, that T-Rex never lived it down. Some scientists believe this evolutionary trait was to reach higher foliage, while others think it might have been a way to attract mates. I mean, if you can't impress someone with your impressive size, what's left but to have a neck that could win a limbo contest? And there's the mystery of how some dinosaurs, like the Triceratops, evolved to have 3 horns on their faces. Was it for defense? Mating displays? Or maybe they just thought it looked cool? There's a delightful absurdity in imagining a bunch of dinosaurs gathered around, debating the merits of horn placement, like they're planning their next fashion statement. The intersection of practicality and aesthetic choice has always been a human dilemma, and it turns out dinosaurs weren't so different after all, and we can only imagine their lives. Yet that quest for knowledge is peppered with a healthy dose of humor. Our attempts to piece together the past often lead to strange conclusions. For example, how many of you have seen those cute animations of dinosaurs speaking in modern slang? It's a delightful juxtaposition of ancient and contemporary that highlights our tendency to anthropomorphize these creatures. It's as if our brains simply can't resist giving them personalities. Oh look, a stegosaurus with a penchant for TikTok dances. Conclusion: the timeless appeal of dinosaurs. As we wrap up this leg of our dinosaur journey, let's take a moment to reflect on the timeless appeal of these creatures. Dinosaurs embody both our fascination with the past and our fears about the future. They remind us that extinction is always a possibility, that life is fragile, and that nature has a sense of humor. Because let's be real, what could be more absurd than the idea that a creature with a brain the size of a walnut once ruled the earth? So as we continue to explore the depths of our history and the myths we've constructed around it, let's keep in mind the delicate dance between fact and fiction. Dinosaurs, with their incredible diversity and endearing quirks, challenge us to question what we think we know and to embrace the complexities of life, both then and now, and maybe reconsider that home decor inspired by ancient giants. Tonight, we're diving into the realm of dinosaurs. Those magnificent, scaly giants that roamed the earth long before we even had the chance to misplace our car keys, and hunting humans like it's some kind of prehistoric game of tag. The reality was far more complex and downright bizarre. But first, if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's darker truths, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what drew you to this topic. I love hearing from you all. Alright, get settled in, maybe grab a drink, and let's uncover what life was truly like back then. Now, for starters, let's talk about misconceptions, because boy, do we have a plethora of them regarding dinosaurs. For instance, many of us have been conditioned to believe that dinosaurs were either all monstrous beasts, or, in the case of the adorable little velociraptor, the size of a school bus, thanks to various media portrayals. However, did you know that the actual velociraptor was about the size of a turkey? Yes, the same bird people happily consume on Thanksgiving. Imagine a tiny feathered dinosaur running around like it's auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. It's a rather absurd image, isn't it? Yet, that's reality for you. And speaking of feathers, let's clear up another misconception. For years, the popular narrative was that dinosaurs were scaly creatures akin to modern-day reptiles. But thanks to some recent discoveries, it turns out that many theropods, a group that includes the infamous T-Rex, were covered in feathers. Yes, you heard that right. Talk about serving a jaw-dropping twist in the plot. Just picture a fierce T-Rex strutting around like a flamboyant bird in a beauty pageant. It's hard to take the king seriously when he looks like he's ready for a tropical vacation, isn't it? But let's not forget the social aspects of these ancient reptiles. If we think about cultural practices, you might wonder what a T-Rex would have been like at a party. Would it be the life of the gathering, offering a roaring good time? Or would it sit in the corner, awkwardly sipping on its drink? Paleontologists have discovered that many dinosaur species exhibited social behavior that could rival our own. Some traveled in herds, much like modern animals, such as elephants or wildebeests. Imagine a gaggle of Apatosaurus, munching on foliage and gossiping about the latest prehistoric happenings. Did you hear about the new plant species that just popped up? Delicious. And let's be real. While dinosaurs were undoubtedly impressive, they were also hilariously prone to absurdities. For instance, consider the Stegosaurus, which sported some of the most ridiculous plates along its back. Now, these plates were likely used for temperature regulation or mating displays, but one has to wonder if they also served as an effective conversation starter. Hey there, do you like my fabulous dorsal spikes? They're all the rage this season. The irony of it all is that we humans, with our supposed intelligence, have done some equally silly things throughout history. For example, did you know that ancient civilizations sometimes mistook dinosaur bones for the remains of dragons or giants? The very idea that some ancient folks were digging up bones and thinking, wow, this must be a legendary beast, is hilariously ironic. It's as if they were unwittingly creating their own fantasy tales, which, let's face it, could give a good old J.R.R. Tolkien a run for his money. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the scientific advancements that have emerged from our fascination with dinosaurs. The study of these creatures has led to significant breakthroughs in paleontology, geology, and even evolutionary biology. For example, thanks to the study of dinosaur fossils, we now know that birds are essentially modern-day dinosaurs. This connection is a beautiful reminder that life is not just a linear progression, but rather a tangled web of survival strategies that have stood the test of time. So the next time you see a pigeon cooing at you, just remember you're looking at a feathered dinosaur. Perhaps it's time to start treating them with the respect they deserve. But wait, there's more. Dinosaur research has also provided insights into extinction events, including the catastrophic asteroid impact that wiped out the non-avian dinosaurs about 66 million years ago. This event serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of life and how everything can change in the blink of an eye. One moment, you're a colossal sauropod munching on leaves, and the next, bam, you're a fossil. It's the ultimate plot twist in the story of life. And speaking of extinction, let's chat about the human aspect of this story. As much as we like to think of ourselves as the pinnacle of evolution, we have our own extinction-level events lurking around the corner. From climate change to habitat destruction, our modern-day actions are eerily reminiscent of the events that led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. It's almost as if we're reenacting a tragic play where the final act foreshadows our downfall. Now, let's dig even deeper into some of these connections between past and present. Take, for example, the way dinosaurs adapted to their environments. They thrived in a wide range of climates and ecosystems, showcasing an incredible resilience to change. Fast forward to today, and you'll see that humans are often in the same boat, adapting, evolving, and sometimes failing spectacularly at survival. The absurdity lies in our refusal to learn from history. It's like watching a sitcom where the characters keep making the same mistakes, despite the audience yelling at the screen, "Don't go in there!" So, what can we glean from the dinosaurs? Perhaps it's the reminder that life is unpredictable, and sometimes it's the unexpected that leads to the most extraordinary outcomes. Dinosaurs were the kings and queens of adaptation, able to survive and flourish in a world filled with dangers. Just think about it. They survived for over 160 million years. That's quite a record. Meanwhile, we humans have only been around for a fraction of that time, and we're already facing our own set of challenges. Now, here's a fun thought experiment. If you could bring back one dinosaur species, which would it be? And what would you do with it? Personally, I'd love to see a triceratops just chilling in my backyard, munching on the shrubs while I sip my coffee. "Oh, hey there, buddy. Mind if I join you for breakfast?" But on a more serious note, it raises questions about our relationship with nature. Could we coexist with these magnificent creatures? Or would we immediately turn into a reality show, humans versus dinosaurs, competing for dominance in a hilarious but dangerous game of survival? Let's not forget the irony in how we've named dinosaurs based on only a few fossils. It's like trying to write a biography of someone after only reading their shopping list. Ah yes, I see you've bought milk. bread, and a giant claw. Clearly, you were a fearsome creature. The truth is, our understanding of these creatures is continuously evolving as new discoveries are made. Just when you think you've got a handle on a species, bam, someone digs up a new fossil that flips everything you thought on its head. In the end, the world of dinosaurs serves as both a reminder of life's impermanence and a testament to the strange, often absurd nature of evolution. As we continue to explore the past, we find connections to our present that are sometimes unsettling but always fascinating. Just like the dinosaurs, we're part of a larger narrative that is still unfolding, and who knows what plot twists await us in the future. So, as we wrap up this exploration of our prehistoric friends, let's take a moment to appreciate the ironies and absurdities that have shaped our understanding of these incredible creatures. Just remember, whether you're dodging a feathered dinosaur or making sense of the world around you, life has a funny way of surprising us, sometimes in the most unexpected of ways. In our next segment, we'll dive deeper into the cultural impact of dinosaurs in today's society. From toys to movies and beyond, their legacy continues to capture our imaginations. So, stay tuned. There's plenty more to come on this wild ride through history. What's going on, everyone? Tonight, we're diving into the world of dinosaurs. You know, the ferocious reptiles that ruled the earth before humans decided to make it their own personal playground. But let's take a moment for a reality check. While we often envision dinosaurs as these gigantic, terrifying monsters from movies like Jurassic Park, the truth is a bit more nuanced. They weren't just mindless beasts roaming around. They were incredibly diverse, with some being as small as a chicken. Yep, that's right. While your image of a T-Rex might be one of a massive predator, its distant cousin, the Compsognathus, could easily have fit on your dinner plate. We're exploring what the experience of these prehistoric creatures was really like. Strip away the glamorous Hollywood special effects and the romanticized visions of dino spaceships, and you'll find that the reality was far more complex, and dare I say, even a little absurd. From their social structures to their surprisingly intricate lives, dinosaurs were more than just oversized lizards. But first, if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's darker truths, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what drew you to this topic. I love hearing from you all. All right, get settled in, maybe grab a drink, and let's uncover what life was truly like back then. The dinosaur social scene, more like a neighborhood barbecue than a horror film. Let's kick things off with something that might surprise you. Dinosaurs had social lives. You heard me right. Contrary to the popular image of a lone T-Rex stalking through a foggy swamp like a misunderstood artist, many dinosaurs lived in herds. Yes, the raptors were out there just having a good old time, playing tag and probably gossiping about the latest gossip among the Stegosaurus crowd. Something like, "Did you hear? Spike lost his plates in a bet?" Take the famous Hadrosaurus, or the duck-billed dinosaur. These guys lived in large groups, and their social behavior suggests they might have been as social as a herd of teenagers at a mall. They'd gather together for protection from predators, and likely had complex social interactions. Imagine a bunch of Hadrosaurus hanging out, with some trying to impress the others with their quacking sounds. I mean, can you imagine a duck-billed dinosaur throwing shade at a T-Rex? Oh, sweetie, keep squawking like that, and you'll scare away all the snacks. These social structures aren't just fanciful ideas. Paleontologists have found fossilized evidence of dinosaurs that lived in groups. In fact, they found large groups of hadrosaurs preserved together in a site known as the Dinosaur Stampede in Australia, showing that they were running in the same direction, likely trying to escape a predator. It's a little poetic, really. Who knew dinosaurs had their own version of a chaotic group outing? Dino myths unraveled. The good, the bad, and the feathered. Now, let's dive into some of the scientific misconceptions that have given dinosaurs their larger-than-life reputation. One of the biggest myths is that dinosaurs are just giant lizards. Let's set the record straight. They're not lizards. In fact, they're more closely related to birds, which is why you might have seen some paleontologists casually saying, "Your chicken is more like a T-Rex than you'd think." This leads us to a delightful irony. The very creatures we associate with extinction are, in fact, still alive. Birds are essentially the last surviving lineage of dinosaurs. So next time you're at a backyard barbecue and you see a pigeon feasting on crumbs, just remember that you're witnessing a living dinosaur. So when your friend brings up how they saw a T-Rex in a documentary, you can casually respond, "Yeah, well, meet my cousin, the pigeon. He's a real feathered dino. And I promise he's much less intimidating." Furthermore, the whole idea of dinosaurs being completely scaly and reptilian is being challenged. Recent discoveries have shown that many species, particularly the theropods, like our feathered friend the velociraptor, had feathers. Yes, feathers. Imagine a T-Rex strutting around the neighborhood sporting a chic feather boa. Talk about a fashion statement. The Jurassic irony, predators and prey. Now, let's talk about the food chain. What's more absurd than a velociraptor trying to outsmart a T-Rex? The dietary habits of dinosaurs weren't just about being a predator or prey. Some of them were omnivores, munching on whatever they could find. Think of the dinosaur equivalent of a college student who'll eat whatever's in the fridge, be it pizza, leftover sushi, or that mystery takeout from a month ago. Take the Therizinosaurus, for instance. It had massive claws that could put your local lumberjack to shame. While it might look like a fearsome predator, it mostly munched on plants, making it a plant eater with a penchant for dramatic flair. Can you imagine it at a dino dinner party? "Hey, check out my claws. Yeah, I'm totally going for the salad tonight. No meat for me, thanks." This brings us to the unexpected connections between past and present. These creatures remind us of the duality of existence. Predators and prey. Herbivores and carnivores. All coexisting and contributing to the ecosystem. It's a bit like our modern world, isn't it? We're all just trying to find our place and figure out what to eat for dinner, albeit with fewer teeth and a lot less roaring. Cultural practices and dino reverence. Speaking of existence, let's take a moment to appreciate how dinosaurs have not just impacted the scientific community, but also our culture. Ancient peoples across the globe have left us traces of their fascination with these giants, albeit without a clue that they were in fact dinosaurs. For example, in some parts of Asia, fossilized dinosaur bones were often mistaken for dragon bones. Imagine early humans trying to piece together what they found. Look, a giant claw. It must be from a fire-breathing dragon. Or maybe it's just a really, really big chicken. This misunderstanding highlights something fundamental about human nature. We have an innate tendency to mythologize the unknown. The T-Rex might have been the stuff of nightmares for many, but it also sparked creativity. From the ancient Greeks' tales of monstrous creatures to modern films, dinosaurs have captured our imagination. Some cultures even revered these beasts as powerful symbols of might and endurance. It's a classic case of humanity finding ways to weave fantastical narratives around real-life phenomena. The prevailing theory is that a massive asteroid collided with Earth around 66 million years ago, leading to a dramatic climate shift. Imagine being a dinosaur in those times, lounging under the sun, while suddenly the sky felt dark, as if the universe itself was throwing a chaotic tantrum. In a comical twist of fate, after millions of years of evolution, the very reign of these magnificent creatures ended because they couldn't adapt to the rapid changes in their environment. If that doesn't say something profound about life, I don't know what does. It's a reminder that even the most powerful can fall, and those who can adapt survive. So, what does this mean for us today? Well, it's a lesson in resilience and adaptability. Just as the dinosaurs paved the way for mammals to thrive post-extinction, we too need to be prepared for whatever curveballs life throws our way. Maybe we should keep a few feathers around as a reminder of how even the scariest beasts can become a part of our culture, history, and even cuisine. The absurdity of modern dinosaur obsession. And let's not skip over the modern obsession with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are everywhere these days. Action figures, birthday parties, and yes, even in the realm of scientific debates. But let's take a moment to appreciate the absurdity of how we treat these ancient reptiles. We've built entire franchises around them, as if Jurassic Park is just a cute little neighborhood petting zoo. You've got scientists working hard to uncover the secrets of their lives, while at the same time, we're turning them into plush toys and cartoon characters. Talk about a dichotomy. On one hand, you've got serious paleontologists analyzing fossilized feces. Yes, coprolites are a real thing, to understand the diets of these creatures. On the other hand, kids are begging their parents to buy them a plush T-Rex that sings, "I will survive." It's a bit of a cultural paradox, isn't it? We're fascinated by their power and majesty, but we also want to cuddle with them at night. Just imagine a kid waking up to a softly snoring T-Rex stuffed animal next to them. "Mom, I had a dream my dinosaur was eating pizza with me," only to realize that the real dinosaurs were probably too busy engaging in their own complex social dynamics instead of feasting on pepperoni. Conclusion of this chapter: what we can learn. So, what have we learned on this journey through the world of dinosaurs? We've uncovered their social lives, dispelled myths about their nature, and explored the absurdities of our modern fascination with them. We've seen how humans have mythologized these creatures, trying to connect with their mysterious past, while simultaneously turning them into fluffy toys for our children. The essence of our connection to these long-extinct creatures reflects a fundamental truth about human nature. We seek to understand the unknown, to find meaning in the remnants of the past, and to weave stories that connect us to our origins. Whether it's through the lens of science, culture, or sheer whimsicality, the legacy of dinosaurs continues to shape our world today. And with that, we're just getting started on this journey. Keep your eyes peeled, because there's more to discover, more laughs to share, and plenty of historical twists waiting around the corner. So stick around, and let's continue to unravel the incredible tapestry of history and mythology that binds us all together. As we wrap up our epic journey through the era of dinosaurs, it's time to reflect on some of the more curious connections between these magnificent creatures and our modern lives. You might be wondering, why should we care about some scaly giants that went extinct millions of years ago? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because the implications are more riveting than you might think. First, let's talk about how dinosaurs continue to inspire the human imagination. Just like our forebears gazing up at the stars, we now find ourselves looking back through eons of time, capturing the essence of these colossal creatures in everything from blockbuster films to theme park attractions. Who doesn't get a thrill from seeing a Tyrannosaurus Rex roar across the screen, even if it's just a CGI monster in a summer blockbuster? It's fascinating how the same human impulse that made our ancestors marvel at mammoths and saber-toothed tigers has led us to create a whole culture around these long-gone lizards. One could argue that the dinosaurs have become a form of modern mythology, our own version of mythology that helps us confront fears like being eaten alive and wonder about the vastness of time. And speaking of mythology, let's not forget the delightful irony that while we're all captivated by dinosaurs, they were essentially the original big fish in a small pond. Can you imagine their day-to-day lives? Picture a velociraptor expertly stalking a herd of primitive mammals, all while internally debating whether to order takeout or do a bit of hunting. Sure, they had it rough with predator versus prey dynamics, but they also roamed the earth with a level of swagger that would make even the most confident hipster today look like a wallflower. Now, if you think about it, there's a parallel between the social structures of dinosaur life and how we navigate modern society. Just as dinosaurs had their own hierarchy, think of the apex predators like the T-Rex versus the smaller herbivores. So do we. We have our own social dinosaurs, from the corporate bigwigs down to the hopeful interns trying to climb the ladder. And let's face it, in both worlds, there's always someone waiting to pounce on an unsuspecting opportunity. Here's an interesting aspect to consider: the extinction of the dinosaurs. This cataclysmic event wasn't just an extraordinary geological accident. It serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of environment and survival. The infamous asteroid impact that wiped out the dinosaurs reminds us of the fragility of life and the unpredictable forces of nature. Today, as we grapple with climate change and environmental degradation, it's almost as if the Earth is giving us a warning. Hey, remember what happened to those dinosaurs? Yeah, let's not do that again. But let's shift gears here. How about the way dinosaurs have informed our understanding of evolution? It's one of those delightful twists of fate that the very creatures we once thought were just giant lizards have turned out to be the ancestors of modern birds. Yes, your morning coffee might just be served to you by a distant relative of the mighty T-Rex. Next time you see a pigeon strutting around, you might want to give it a nod of respect. After all, it's a survivor. Yet, despite these fascinating connections, humans remain a species of contradictions. We're incredibly curious and resourceful, but we also have a knack for ignoring the lessons history has to teach us. Remember how dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 160 million years, and look where it got them. Extinction. It's a classic example of hubris, where the creatures that dominated their environment eventually fell victim to their own limitations and the unpredictability of nature. So, what does that mean for us? Can we learn from their downfall, or are we destined to repeat history? These reflections on our place in the grand scheme of life lead us to an important conclusion. The dinosaurs' story is ultimately a mirror held up to humanity. We face our own challenges, our own asteroids, if you will. Whether it's climate change, social injustice, or technological advances that threaten our privacy, we need to take a moment to heed the lessons of the past. As we look back at the age of dinosaurs, we're reminded of the impermanence of existence. Those majestic beasts roamed the earth only to become fossilized remnants of a bygone era. In their extinction lies a profound truth. Everything we know and cherish today, be it our cities, cultures, or ecosystems, is fleeting. Human history, much like the reign of the dinosaurs, is an intricate tapestry woven from triumphs and failures, lessons learned and ignored. But fear not, there's always hope. Just as the extinction of the dinosaurs made way for the rise of mammals, and eventually us, we too have the capacity to adapt and change. Our ability to innovate, to collaborate, and to learn from the past can help us forge a more sustainable and equitable future. It's an ongoing saga where we are the protagonists, equipped with knowledge, compassion, and a healthy dose of humor to guide us through. So what can we learn from our scaly predecessors? Let's remember to stay humble, to respect the planet we inhabit, and to appreciate the interconnected nature of life. Just as the dinosaurs were not alone in their dominion, neither are we. Our survival depends on recognizing the delicate web of life that surrounds us and understanding that our actions have consequences. In closing, it's vital to embrace the spirit of curiosity and wonder that dinosaurs evoke in us. Let's channel that into a commitment to better stewardship of our world, to fostering community, and to confronting the challenges that lie ahead with creativity and resilience. Just as the incredible tale of the dinosaurs inspires awe and intrigue, so too should our journey forward be driven by a desire to learn, to adapt, and to leave a lasting legacy for the generations that will come after us. Thank you for joining me on this wild ride through the ancient world of dinosaurs. If you found this exploration enlightening or amusing, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more captivating journeys through history and beyond. Drop a comment below about your favorite dinosaur or any deep thoughts you have about the lessons we can draw from our prehistoric friends. I love hearing from you all. Until next time, keep wondering, keep learning, and remember, life may be fleeting, but the stories we tell can last an eternity.